The top stories tonight in Y News. Vice President Sara Duterte resigns from cabinet of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.
Armed Forces of the Philippines of Chief of Staff General Romeo Brawner Jr. describes China's actions against the AFP's recent RoRe mission at Ayungin Shoal as pirate-like.
Philippine Defense Secretary Orly Mercado says the country must employ tit-for-tat response against China's aggression in the West Philippine Sea.
And we will discover why Dutchman Mark Rutte, known for his firm stance against Russian President Vladimir Putin, is set to become the next Secretary General of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Wednesday, the 19th of June, 2024. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am Elsie Marcos.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Mavian Dog.
First in the news, Vice President Sara Duterte resigns from cabinet of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. However, she declines to provide reason for her resignation. Asher Kadapan details why.
Vice President Sara Duterte steps down as Secretary of the Department of Education, or DepEd, and co-vice chairperson for the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, or NTF-LCAC. On her 30-day notice, there was no mention of any reason for her resignation, but only stated it is irrevocable. The Vice President also personally confirms her withdrawal from her commitment as Education Secretary as she made her announcement in DepEd office on Wednesday, June 19.
Earlier today, June 19, 2024, I sought an audience with the President and tendered my resignation as the Secretary of Education effective July 19, 2024. I have given my 30-day notice to ensure the proper and orderly transition for the benefit of the next Secretary.
In her speech, the Vice President mentioned some of the achievements in DepEd during her term as Education Secretary. This primarily includes the new curriculum for kindergarten to grade 10, which is highly anticipated to be implemented in the school opening on July 29. VP Duterte, however, stated no apparent reason for her resignation.
Mga kababayan, ang aking pagbibitiw ay hindi lula ng kahinaan, kundi dala ng tunay na malasakit para sa ating mga guro at kabataang Pilipino.
After her message, VP Duterte refused to entertain any questions from the media, particularly her considerations leading to such decision. The NTF-LCAC respects the resignation of Vice President Sara and shares gratitude for her significant role and contributions in advancing the mission of the agency to promote peace in the country. The agency also believes that Vice President Sara will continue to serve the Filipino people with utmost love and dedication. Meanwhile, Alliance of Concerned Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro has welcomed VP Sara's resignation. In a statement, she remarked that VP Sara should have resigned from the Department of Education earlier to allow for the appointment of a more suitable leader. The Solon expressed that the 2 years of VP Sara's tenure as Secretary of Education were a missed opportunity to address issues in the education sector, including teacher salaries and benefits. Representative Castro also expressed hope that the President will appoint new, more appropriate leaders to the positions vacated by VP Sara. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Amid the challenges the Philippines is facing in the West Philippine Sea situation, an analyst believes that the Marcos administration is on the right track in resolving the maritime dispute. Nel Maribohok reports.
The foreign policy of the Marcos administration is heading in the right direction, particularly in resolving the issue in the West Philippine Sea. According to a policy analyst, Attorney Michael Herrera, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s efforts to engage in dialogue with other countries and promote adherence to international law are appropriate and necessary.
We adhere to international law and the rule-based order of in our region, diba? And consequently, ang focus natin dalawa, yung titawag na ASEAN centrality and also regional cooperation, no, with like-minded countries. So dyan na pumapasok yung sinasabi mong multilateral approach, no?
Nevertheless, he also believes that the Philippines should not close the door on bilateral talks with China to resolve the issue in the West Philippine Sea. This should be done while the Philippines strengthens its defense capabilities and alliances with other countries.
That door to a diplomatic resolution should always be open, no? And that means we should also be ready to be on that table when that time comes. So wag dapat tayong mag-aksaya ng oras na nakikipagbangayan pa tayo dun sa mga opisyal nila.
Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
For former Philippine Defense Secretary RoRe Mercado, tit for tat or the Philippines should now retaliate against China's aggression in the West Philippine Sea. Meanwhile, the United States has expressed concern over the potential escalation of the situation in the disputed territories. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
It is time for the Philippines to show strong action against China's aggression in the West Philippine Sea. This was emphasized by former Defense Secretary RoRe Mercado. He said that the Philippines should also demonstrate its defense of its territory against China's aggression and not just rely on allied countries. A Philippine Navy service member had a finger severed and 6 others were wounded following a collision between a Chinese ship and a Philippine vessel in a rotation and resupply mission at Ayungin Shoal on Monday, June 17. This comes following the implementation of the no trespass rule by China in their claimed territory in the West Philippine Sea.
Dapat ang sagot natin diyan tit for tat din. Meron tayong mga sektor sa bayan natin, natatakot na, bakit baka girahin tayo, kaya ba natin ng China? Bakit pa tayo nag-armed forces kung hindi rin tayo lalaban? Kumuha tayo ng water cannon at gawin natin yung tubig ng Pasig River, yung maruming tubig. Yun ang ibomba natin, tignan natin kung di puro galis ang mga Chinese Navy nila.
Furthermore, it is also necessary to strengthen or repair the BRP Sierra Madre, the ship grounded on Ayungin Shoal by the Philippine Navy in 1999 to serve as a living quarters for soldiers guarding our territory. Meanwhile, the United States has expressed concern about the potential worsening situation in the territorial dispute in the West Philippine Sea. Pentagon Press Secretary Major General Pat Ryder also condemned China's provocations. This comes alongside a renewed emphasis on the United States' commitment to support its allied nations.
This kind of behavior is provocative, it's reckless, it's unnecessary, and as you highlight, it could lead to something bigger and more violent. And so we're going to continue to stand with our Philippine allies.
Also, some House lawmakers have condemned China's latest aggression against the Philippines in the disputed territory in the West Philippine Sea. According to Bukidnon 2nd District Representative Jonathan Keith Flores, this incident underscores the urgent need for strong action from the Philippines.
Well, sumusobra na talaga yung mga in-check, no? Ang aggression na pinapakita nila sa West Philippine Sea, even if resupply mission lang sana yun, is parang pambabastos na sa sovereignty ng Pilipinas.
The Solon also assured the push for increased funding for the Philippine Coast Guard and Philippine Navy for the year 2025. These agencies are responsible for guarding our territory in the West Philippine Sea. According to Surigao del Norte 2nd District Representative Robert Ace Barbers, China's intimidation tactics have become overt. He added that the Philippines should also counter China's no trespass rule with appropriate measures.
Ito obvious na hindi na to pangbubuli. Pananakot na talaga itong gagawin nila, no? At ginagawa nila, no? Kapag sila ay pumasok o nag-trespass sa ating teritoryo, dapat manghuli rin tayo. Hulihin din natin sila. Dahil isang pagpapakita ito ng pagrespeto sa ating mga pulisiya at ating batas dito sa ating bansa.
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Philippine National Police Chief Police General Romel Francisco Marbil has ordered a heightened police presence across the country. According to PNP Public Information Office Chief Colonel Jean Fajardo, General Marbil has directed that 85% of PNP forces should be assigned to field duties. Colonel Fajardo added that the police will be conducting foot and motorcycle patrols, as well as operations known as Oplancita and Oplangalugad to enhance visibility and ensure rapid response, thereby deterring crime and fostering safer communities. General Marbil has also reminded all police officers to uphold the highest standards of professionalism and community engagement during these operations.
Our Chief PNP and SILG just give more emphasis on the police presence nga sa ating daan dahil just to share ma'am, yung effect po nitong utos po ng ating Chief PNP na mas palakasin yung presensya natin ay nagresulta po yan ma'am ng pagbaba po ng krimen from, if I may share, from January to May 2024. Kung ikukumpara po natin yan doon sa January to May ng 2023 ay nakapagtala po tayo ng 21.35% na pagbaba doon po sa mga tinatawag po natin na crimes against persons and crimes against property. So ito po yung gusto nating i-sustain na mas bumaba pa yung ating insidente.
And for the news abroad, Dutchman Mark Rutte, known for his firm stance against Russian President Vladimir Putin, is set to become the next Secretary General of NATO. Ryuji Sasaki details why live. Good evening, Ryuji.
Good evening, Elsie. Mark Rutte, who has served nearly 14 years as the Dutch Prime Minister, is poised to take over the leadership of NATO, or the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. A dedicated supporter of Ukraine, Rutte has been instrumental in pushing Europe's military aid to Ukraine since Russia's invasion in 2022. During his time as Prime Minister, he significantly boosted the Netherlands' defense budget and supplied Ukraine with military hardware, including F-16 fighter jets and artillery. Rutte has consistently criticized Putin, especially following the tragic downing of Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 over Ukraine in 2014, which claimed the lives of 196 Dutch citizens. He argues that Russia must be defeated to secure lasting peace in Europe. Rutte's path to NATO leadership became more certain after Hungary and Slovakia backed his nomination, leaving only Romania in opposition. Current NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg, who is stepping down in October, has endorsed Rutte as a very strong candidate. Rutte has been a key figure in the European Union, influencing major discussions on immigration, debt, and the COVID-19 response. Although Rutte has previously hinted at pursuing a teaching career after politics, he decided to seek an international role due to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. He will officially step down as Dutch Prime Minister once the new right-wing government takes over, marking the end of his long tenure. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Ryuji Sasaki, reporting live from Japan.
Russian President Vladimir Putin's recent visit to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, or DPRK, the first in 24 years to deepen trade and security ties against the United States, sparks the concern of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO, about Russia's support for North Korea's missile and nuclear programs. The DPRK has been accused by the U.S. of supplying Russia with 11,000 containers of munitions in their fight against Ukraine, with NATO Secretary Jens Stoltenberg added that Ukraine was being propped up by the two as well as China and Iran. China's ties with Russia has allowed Russia to maintain its defense base by supplying 70% of Moscow's machine tools imports as well as 90% of microelectronics. Meanwhile, North Korea is anticipating to receive many military machinery and advanced technology from Russia, some being the fighter aircraft, surface-to-air missiles, armored vehicle, and ballistic missile production. We'll share more global stories with you later. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Tricycle drivers in Quezon City are still using improvised license plate weeks before the implementation of the No Plate, No Travel policy by the Land Transportation Office, or LTO. JP Nunez will tell us why.
Some tricycle drivers in Quezon City are still having trouble on getting their legitimate license plates.
Mabagal sa LTO, hindi sa amin. Kasi kami napapeles namin, ayos naman eh.
Binuntahan ko ngayon sa pinalop namin, sagot nila wala pa raw. Tagal na kasi 2014 eh. Tagal na hanggang ngayon wala pa rin.
They are using temporary or improvised plates which bear same character from their original registration. They fear that when Land Transportation Office, or LTO, starts implementing the No Plate, No Travel policy, they might get apprehended.
Sigurado, kasama sa huli to kasi improvised plate lang to eh. Sigurado, bawas kita na naman. Kamot ang operator dyan. Pag pinasya lang kami ng LTO dito, patay kami, di kami makabiyahe, magtatago ako. Siyempre, iwas na lang.
Uli, pero titigil kami para kunin namin yung plaka namin. Kasi papeles namin, nakapasok naman sa LTO na eh. Papalo up namin yung plaka.
The Land Transportation Office announced that starting July 1, they will implement the policy in Quezon City. LTO Chief Assistant Secretary Vigor Mendoza II explained that they already addressed the 3,000 backlog of license plates of tricycles in Quezon City. The LTO will presume that those with no license plates but being used as public transport are colorum or operating illegally. Based on the existing traffic rule, there will be 5,000 pesos of fine if a motor vehicle is using improper plate, which is burdensome to tricycle drivers if they get apprehended.
Wala na kami kinikita, tapos magbabayad pa kami ng 5,000.
The No Plate, No Travel policy will soon be implemented nationwide. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Labor and Employment has stated that there will be a positive result over the wage hike bids in the National Capital Region, or NCR, before July 16. This after President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. ordered to review the minimum daily wage in the different regions last Labor Day. Dante Amento tells us why.
The Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board, or RTWPB National Capital Region, will conduct a public hearing on Thursday, June 20. This is about the minimum wage adjustment bids for workers in the private sector. Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE Secretary Bienvenido Laguesma, said that after the public consultation, the Wage Board would deliberate and decide on the propriety of wage hike in Metro Manila.
I will not be surprised kung sa bukas meron pang mga karagdagan na magpapahayag ng kanilang posisyon kung magkano sa kanilang pananaw ang dapat na maging adjustment sa umiiral na minimum wage level sa NCR.
However, Laguesma assured he would not intervene in the decision of the Wage Board. Laguesma added that several groups submitted their petitions for wage increase. The Unity for Wage Increase Now or UN wants for a minimum wage increase of 597 pesos, which would be added to the 610 pesos current daily minimum wage in NCR.
Kung ano man po ang halaga ng kanilang adjustment ay hindi ko po sila pangungunahan. Dahil yan naman po ay dapat na pinag-uusapan ng malaya at ng masusi ng mga miyembro ng Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board.
Last May 1, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. mandated the review of the daily minimum wage in different regions across the country for possible adjustment. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo Brawner Jr. has stated that Chinese Coast Guard mobbed and robbed Philippine Navy personnel aboard a rigid-hulled inflatable boat conducting a resupply mission to BRP Sierra Madre at Ayungin Shoal last Monday. He labeled this act as piracy and emphasized that the stolen weapons and personal belongings should be returned by involved Chinese personnel. Ryan Lacanlale details why.
Chinese Coast Guard hijacked the legitimate rotational and resupply mission of the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP to BRP Sierra Madre last Monday, according to AFP Chief of Staff Romeo Brawner Jr. Brawner described the actions of Chinese Coast Guard personnel as piracy, where two steel-hulled boats of China blocked the rigid-hulled inflatable boat of the Philippine Navy. China personnel forcibly boarded the Filipino soldiers' rib and also stolen 7 disassembled firearms that were in gun cases intended for delivery to the soldiers at BRP Sierra Madre.
For me, this is piracy already, no? Piracy, because they boarded our boats illegally. They got our equipment, no? Again, parang mga pirata na po sila dun sa mga ginawa nilang actions na yan.
They also damaged the engines of the ribs, communication devices, and punctured the ribs. They took other items as well, including the soldiers' cell phones. They damaged 2 ribs and 2 rubber boats in total.
The number of firearms that were looted, they are CAR 15, so long firearms ito. 7 firearms were looted and forcibly taken. Meaning, nandun sa bag kasi yung mga yan, binuhat nila. Initially, they destroyed the communication equipment, the outboard motor, sinira nila yon, then other navigational equipment, and they even took the personal cell phones of our personnel.
The soldiers attempted to fight back, but without weapons. They could only defend themselves using their hands. The Filipino soldiers were also outnumbered, 1 rib from Philippine Navy against 8 steel boats from China. This was also the first time the soldiers encountered Chinese armed with bolos, spears, knives, and other sharp objects, threatening the Filipino soldiers.
We saw in the video how the Chinese even threatened our personnel by pointing their knives at our personnel. Despite this, lumaban po yung ating mga sundalo, no? Lumaban po with their bare hands, no? With their bare hands. Makikita nyo po, tinutulak nila yung rib ng Chinese Coast Guard palabas, no? Palayo. They were preventing the Chinese Coast Guard from hitting them.
The soldiers did not carry any weapons to avoid giving perceptions of conducting an armed operation.
Now, one of our guidance when it comes to the conduct of RoRe, no firearms will be handled or shown by our personnel to the Coast Guard personnel. And we are doing that to avoid misperception that we are conducting an armed operation. So the firearms were looted actually, and they were disassembled.
The AFP has called on China to return the stolen items and compensate for the damages they caused.
So our action now is that we are demanding that the Chinese return our rifles and our equipment. No? And we are also demanding from them to pay for the damages that they have caused. No? Babayaran nila po yun dahil hindi po tayo papayag na ganun lang na sisirain nila yung ating mga kagamitan at kunin lang nila. No?
During the incident, Seaman First Class Jeffrey Pacundos cut one of his finger when it got caught during the collision of China's steel boat with the Philippine Navy's rib. Earlier today, June 19, General Brawner Jr. visited the wounded personnel to assess his condition and spoke with other soldiers to boost their morale. First Class Jeffrey Pacundo was also awarded the Wounded Personnel Medal in recognition of his bravery. According to First Class Jeffrey Pacundo, he is still willing to be deployed to his assignment once he has recovered. Despite the incident, the morale of the soldiers reportedly remains high.
Pagka gumaling ka ba, may balak na bumalik? Sir, saan sir? Very good. So, maganda yung attitude niya.
Ryan Lacanlale, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Department of Health Region 7 has reported a significant increase in dengue cases in Central Visayas, now at 95% compared to last year. One of the contributing factors to this surge is the El Niño phenomenon, which has led to a lack of water supply, prompting individuals to store water. Gladys Tuwabi details why.
Even the rainy season is yet to start. The Department of Health in Central Visayas has already recorded 6,968 dengue cases, with 18 deaths.
This is actually mga 95% higher na siya compared sa kaso, gidaghanon sa kaso last year. So murag na double na yun ang kaso kumpara sa June last year.
Of the said cases, affected individuals include 1-month-old to 98 years old, with majority of school-aged children. The health department says the El Niño phenomenon, where there was lack of water supply, prompting households to store water, is one of the reasons for the higher cases of dengue in Central Visayas.
Unya, katong mga gipangpundo nga tubig base sa ang surveillance, di man gud tarong pagkatabon. So katong mga ipang pundo sa planggana, ipang pundo sa balde, sa mga galon nga way takob na himan ang instant breeding site sa lamok. Kung summer months, paspas ang metabolism sa lamok. So sige silang gutomon. So sige silang mangitlog.
While dengue cases is expected to rise onset of rainy season, local government units are encouraged to execute measures to combat dengue, such as community symposium and vector control measures. Gladys Tuwabi, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In observance of this year's Typhoon and Flood Awareness Week, DOST Pag-asa launches its enhanced website. This is part of the continuous improvement in the agency's services to the general public. Jed Neresina will tell us why.
State Weather Bureau Pag-asa has launched a new update on their website where the public can now view more detailed weather forecasts daily. Moreover, real-time weather data is also available from the Weather Bureau's various observational tools.
Yung pinaka-key features talaga ng panahon tool natin is basically yung auto-updating. So, ito ay combination ng mga automatic stations na nag-update nearly hourly or pwedeng 10 minutes. So, kapag nag-update na yung data, is automatic na siyang makikita dito sa panahon tool natin.
Pag-asa is aiming to reach the general public to better educate or provide them with information regarding the weather. With this innovation, the disaster risk managers, as well as local government units, will have more detailed information and can use them in planning for possible disaster or calamities.
This will really help them making a sound decision, lalo na doon sa mga simpleng activity, lalo yung ating chance of rain. So kung magkakaroon ka ng birthday party bukas, so at least pag sinabi ni Pag-asa, bukas may 70% chance of rain, so aagam-agam ka na 30%, baka hindi mo ituloy.
The State Weather Bureau is also planning to make this innovation phone-friendly, so it will be easier to access for everyone. In relation to this, the indication of the start of the La Niña phenomenon is still not visible according to Pag-asa. Pag-asa Weather Services Chief Telma Cinco said that it is currently only at 65% of their monitoring.
We are looking towards August to October na from transitioning from monsoon neutral to La Niña by August to October to a weak La Niña. Pero currently, hindi pa tayo nagtataas na maging alert. No? So yung chance natin ay mababa pa rin, but we still have that uncertainty. Pero nakikita natin towards the end of the year. Usually, tataas natin siya sa alert pag naabot niya yung 70% chance for the next 6 months. So currently, ay hindi pa yan naabot. So we are still on the watch.
Jed Neresina, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
A lawmaker remains firm that suspended Bamban-Tarlac Mayor Alice Guo is a Chinese citizen. This comes after Senator Sherwin Gatchalian released a copy of Special Investors Resident Visa from the Board of Investments and a passport from Bureau of Immigration containing the details, including a photo of a certain Guo Huaping. Gatchalian is convinced that Guo Huaping is the real name of Alice Guo.
Kumbinsido ako na si Guo Huaping ay si Alice Guo. Tingnan nyo lang yung picture ni Guo Huaping. Talagang hawig na hawig at kamukhang-kamukha nyo yung bata doon sa application. Doon sa dokumentong yan, nakasulat kung sino yung nanay niya. Si Wen Yilin, na sinasabi natin sa mga naririnig namin information, si Wen Yilin ang nanay, biological mother ni Alice Guo.
The Bureau of Immigration or BI confirms that the documents came from them, but it has yet to confirm whether the two individuals are the same person. However, the camp of Guo vehemently denies the newest allegation. One of her legal counsels, Attorney Nicole Hamila, says the Bamban mayor has no knowledge of the document as well as Guo Huaping. Guo maintains that she is a Filipino citizen and a legitimate Philippine passport holder.
We deny the allegation, and Mayor Alice Guo is ready to face any legal consequences or any battle in the proper forum po to assert her claim.
The Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE disclosed on Wednesday, June 19, that about 20,000 workers in the Philippine Offshore Gaming Operator or POGO in the National Capital Region will be directly affected by the proposed POGO ban in the country. Labor Secretary Bienvenido Laguesma said the majority of the operations of POGO are in Metro Manila. Thus, the labor chief believed it would be better if the ban will not be abrupt.
Nagpapaprofile na kami ng mga pwedeng mapinsala. Isa sanang gusto naming makitang proseso, sana hindi abrupt, no? Hindi biglaan. Para magkaroon kami ng tinatawag na transition, maiayos namin ang intervention, hindi lamang siguro ng DOLE, kundi yung iba pang pwedeng makatulong para maihanda natin ang ating mga manggagawa na pwedeng maapektuhan kung tuluyang magsara itong mga establishmento, lalo na yung mga legitimate.
However, if the proposal materialized, the DOLE is allegedly to help those affected by providing them with livelihood packages or helping them find new jobs.
pag meron kanyang sitwasyon, marami po ang gustong mga maitulong sa kanila another job, no? Job facilitation. Kaya kung matatandaan ninyo, madalas na nagkakaroon ng tinatawag na job fairs na kung saan kabahagi po namin yung mga pribadong sektor, ang pribadong sektor, lalo na po yung mga kumpanya na nangangailangan ng manggagawa.
And in other global news, U.S. President Joe Biden has announced that undocumented or illegal immigrants in the U.S. who are married to U.S. citizens can apply for residency without having to leave the country temporarily while their documents are being processed. Early Briones will tell us why.
United States President Joe Biden has shocked the country with his announcement of the latest and boldest immigration regularization programs in their history. The new immigration measures that was announced on Tuesday, June 18, opens hope to illegal immigrants to have pathway to becoming U.S. citizens. The new ruling will let qualified spouses of U.S. citizens to apply for permanent residency and citizenship later on onshore under the current system. Undocumented spouses must go back to their countries while their papers are being processed. This decision by the U.S. President will impact more than 500,000 U.S. citizens non-American spouses and around 50,000 non-American children under 21 years of age, with either of the parents are U.S. citizen. According to Biden, the new ruling would fix the current problem without changing the current and existing law. He also mentioned that the move is not only beneficial to immigrant families, but also to country's economy, as it will keep the families together and will let young people be part of the workforce. To qualify to this new ruling, applicants must be at least living in the U.S. not less than 10 years as of Monday, June 17, and must be married to a U.S. citizen. 3 years thereafter, the applicant can then apply for a green card, then citizenship afterwards. Immigrants' rights advocates were delighted about the latest immigration initiative. However, they requested Biden to do more. Meanwhile, analysts translate this move as a way of getting votes for this upcoming U.S. presidential election on November, as his Republican predecessor Donald Trump is firm on his stand about anti-immigration rule. Early Briones, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe.
Germany has dethroned the reigning champion Team France in the opening day game of the Men's Volleyball Nations League at the MOA Arena. Meanwhile, Canada has buried the world number 3 Japan in an intense 5-set showdown. Rina Villamor Camara reports.
An extremely upsetting game for Japan, who falls for the trap of Canada in a 5-setter opening day game at the MOA Arena, 25-21, 20-25, 25-15, 20-25, and 15-10. It was an exceptional fight between Canada and Japan, who now sit side by side in the team standings in the 7th and 6th place respectively. The Canadians took advantage of their height and blocking prowess as they tilted on Stephen Maar, who contributed 24 monster attacks to pin down the coverage area of the Japan team. A rejection on Ran Takahashi gave a 6-3 cushion in the 5th set, additional to the net denial to the team captain Yuki Ishikawa, that boldly became the big differentiator to finish the final set.
Meanwhile, on the second day of action, it was against 2 European countries, world number 12 Team Germany and world number 7 Team France.
Meanwhile, Germany, during the first set of action, with their solid attacks and blocks, rattled the floor defense of France 25-24. Second set became a close fight between the two teams as France was able to deliver more service aces, giving them a win in that set 25-27. On the third set, a yellow card was raised against coach Mikhail Winiarski. Nevertheless, the Germans still continued with their 7-11 cushion before getting that set. Germany won the fourth set run with 25-23 as Leonard Graven was chosen the best player of the game, who has given plenty digs for the team.
I told guys in timeout when we were losing like 2018, I think, that that we have to now take some risk and be courage in some situation, because I believe that we can break them. And it was like this. I'm really happy.
It's a big boost and one really important step towards the big goal, the Olympic Games.
Germany will go up against Canada tomorrow, while France and Iran sees action on Friday. Rina Villamor Camera, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
And before we close, we will leave you with the word giving glory to God. From the book of 1 John chapter 5 verse 18, it says, "We know that whosoever is born of God sinneth not, but he that is begotten of God keepeth himself, and that wicked one toucheth him not." And those are the reasons behind the news, June 19, 2024. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Mavian Dog, live from Australia.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand. We serve the people, we give glory to God.